I'm Marilyn Pedritti. I'm with the Town of Holland. Frank Jablonski is our attorney, and he did a wonderful job. And if give any advice, get an attorney early, I'll tell you what. So this is Seven Bridges. It's a national monument. It's in the Fish and Wildlife area. It's just part of that. I guess I have this. So who are we and how do we get here? Town of Holland's in La Crosse County, so it's north of here a bit. We have a population a little over 4,000, about 1,500 households. Small community. We have farms and coulees, very much like down here. Beautiful landscape, lots of, used to be dairy farms. Unfortunately, they are going under, but still some farms available and around. We also represent some urban. We have some subdivisions. We're close to La Crosse, so people work in La Crosse, live in our town. Then we also have a lot of outdoor recreation. We have a Holland Sand Prairie, New Amsterdam Grasslands, both part of the Mississippi Valley Conservancy. Again, the Milgary Bridges. We have the Black River running right through our town, wonderful fishing. So we have this combination of things coming through. And then we have this. This is the CapEx 2020. And isn't that beautiful? This is now what our landscape looks like. You can't hide this. We live on a prairie. You can see for miles and miles. You cannot hide these. And it started back in 2009. Little did we know. We had a call from Xcel Energy, their government representatives come in, talk to a couple town representatives. It's like, oh, what are we doing? And look at the pictures. They show these pictures to show that, oh, these power lines aren't that bad. And again, had we known, if we had been at a meeting like this beforehand, I think we would have done a lot different the first time around. So this is our warning to you. If you don't get active and don't hire an attorney right away, this is what will happen. So we figured this out in 2011, that there really wasn't a need. I mean, we had this letter we sent to the PSC saying it cuts through everything our township stands for. It does not come with our comprehensive plan. And talked about the 2006 peak. We haven't increased electricity since then. And so at the very end of this letter, we said, therefore, the town board unanimously voted to oppose this, and we asked the PSC to stop as well. Did us a whole lot of good. The environmental impact statement came out in 2011. They held, if you notice on the, one more. The closest one, Centerville and Arcadia, were a good hour away from Town Holland. So a lot of people got this mailing. It looks like junk mail. Somebody talked about that earlier today. It looks like junk mail. You don't really pay attention. It's far away. You don't go to these meetings. So then they have more hearings, again, up in Alma and Centerville. Our town sent me up there to represent our town at Alma. I had to drive up there, had to make that effort, read the letter out loud. Again, it did no good. On May 30th, PSC said, yep, we're going to go ahead with it. Again, looking back, had we known that we could have been an intervener, maybe this would have been different. So this is May 30th. You like my graphics? A year later, they're coming in with a second line. Not just to put it on those Sadnakon poles, but to create another corridor. At which point the town said, this is just not right. And we kind of drug our feet a little bit more. We had an informational meeting. I think Frank talked about how they throw out these power line routes that are so bad that people come in and say, this is awful, send it over here. The beautiful thing, our town, nobody did that. They said, no, this is an awful thing for everybody. Stop this. Unfortunately, the municipality to the south of us did not. They kept saying, oh no, go there, which was unfortunate. So we had tons of people showing up. We started an energy committee, which we've never had before. They did a lot of research. They got public involved. We had hundreds of people at some of these hearings. And this is where I first became cognizant of SOL and CETF. They filed actually a motion to reopen CapEx 2020, and we joined that bandwagon. We're like, we really don't need this. And this just kind of lists all the legal things. So in 2014, we hired Frank Jablonski to intervene for us, because now we knew we could actually intervene, and we got at the table. All this stuff happening. So 4 years later, we're still waiting. We're still fighting. We're still trying. We've had people, come in to pay their taxes, say, you guys just keep fighting for us. Keep fighting for us. I don't know that there's anybody in our town who thinks this is a great idea to have these power lines go through. So some of the negative impacts, I was asked to speak on that because we have it. 2012, you'll notice a difference between 2011 assessment and 2012. 2012 is when they were built. They're 170, 180 foot tall. They clear cut the heck out of stuff, 200 feet, whatever their thing is. I know of several families that were displaced. They said, we don't want this in my backyard, and they sold out. And it disrupted a lot of land development. If you can see the power line, it zigzags through our neighborhoods. This is the actual power station down here. Goes all the way up. So they're bringing power in from Minnesota down to this power station. Now this new Badger Coulee line is going to start the power station, go all the way back up the same route to go up to Black River to go down to Madison. Kind of is bizarre. Again, there's negative impacts. Economical, it affected the assessed value of this particular subdivision. The power lines went right through. You could see some of the figures where the power line actually went through. It went from a $25,000 lot down to $4,300. Okay, that's just a lot. It will never be built on. I can guarantee that. The power lines are right through it. No one will buy that. But then the houses that were already built, it affected theirs on the other side. We had a negative impact on this one. It zigzagged through this neighborhood. Again, some assessed values. And then we have a golf course in our township. They put a big pole right on the 9th hole. Lovely. Lovely. So again, more negative impacts. This is an old country road. They clear cut a huge path through here, and it affected values along there. So if you add up just those last 4 slides alone, we lost about $206,000 in value, which is about $3,700 in taxes just for last year. You add that up to 5 years, because this is starting in 2012, we've lost $18,000 in taxes. That's just from this, let alone the ATC, the Badger Coulee line. So the yellow is the CapEx 2020, and the red is the ATC. Does that make sense? Why can they not put them on the same pole? They really think it's that necessary, which we, again, keep saying there is no need, there is no need. They're saying reliability. And I actually heard one of them say that if a tornado went through, I'm like, really? A tornado goes through and it's not going to hit both of them? Meanwhile, this subdivision was just going in when the Badger Coulee line gave this route. This route was horrible. It was one of those, we're going to throw a really awful route in. All these people are going to get involved and say, push it over there. These people got involved, but they say no. They didn't say push it over there. They said, we don't need it. Oh, but it did affect. They did not sell a single house while this was going on. A single lot, excuse me. They just sat there. So they lost value. We also lost prime agricultural land. That power plant there was on a 40-acre farm. And they were doing quite well with that farm. It also is close to some very interesting cultural and economic resources within 1,500 feet. You see these things. They are not hiding. And then again, there's natural resources. We have fish and wildlife. We have DNR land. Again, the river bottoms. All these things are very close. And no matter where you are now in the town of Holland, it seems like you can see one of these poles. So the town of Holland said, we're done. We're going to stand up. We're going to speak up. And we're going to take action. So we use the CapEx 2020 fund that they give you, the blood money we call it. We put solar panels on. Go ahead, try and sell us more electricity. We're making it. So this is kind of the statistics. Anybody who's kind of a wonk that way? This is the key one, taxpayer savings. $86,000 we're going to save the taxpayers. And we use money that was not tax dollars. In a way, it is ratepayer money, unfortunately, but we're using it for the good. We also started a solar group buy. The more people who buy solar, the cheaper their solar becomes. We just started that program, and it's got a good start. So, which will the future be? Beautiful countryside, or these little, they call them not obtrusive, power lines? I would like our future to look like this. This is my home. I'm off-grid. That's my little straw house. This is our future, putting solar panels. If they had spent the money they spent on these power lines on putting solar panels on every house in Wisconsin, we'd be independent. We would never have to buy coal again. So that's my story.